So I know you guys are just as fed up with certain YouTubers and beauty gurus as I am, because I posed this question on Reddit and I got so many responses. I want to tell you about it. I asked some people on Reddit what you wish beauty influencers would stop saying, and you guys had a lot to say about this content, which I was honestly really surprised. I thought I was the only one. That honestly, sometimes when they say certain things, it just makes me want to cringe, because I'm like, either that's not true, or they don't have the research, or they don't have the facts, or whatever the case may be. What they're saying is problematic or even wrong. All right, so I've got my trusty iPad here, and I'm gonna go ahead and read some of these off, because some of them I was like totally agree with, and some of them I was like, it's fine. All right, the first one that I'm gonna read, it says, when they say they love a product because it's all natural and chemical free. So is anybody going to tell them how problematic this statement is? Because technically water is a chemical. I mean, let's, like, without getting into it too much, just because something is all natural doesn't mean it's good for you. Is anybody going to tell them that cyanide is also a natural product and so is tobacco? Grows in nature, so it must be good for us. Anyway, so problematic. I just can't help but like laugh. Honestly, these comments had me laughing so hard, because I was like, truth, facts, you guys keep talking, preach. Okay, this next one is obsessed and buttery. At this point, it's overused. I can't tell you how much I agree with this statement. Honestly, the word buttery to me is like the worst adjective. I can't imagine wanting to put a quote buttery eyeshadow on my lids. Honestly, I don't want Vaseline on my eyeballs, and that's what I picture whenever anybody says it. And the other one is obsessed. Like, honestly, you're obsessed with everything. We don't believe you at this point. Okay, this next comment is one that really had me laughing, because I was like, you're not wrong. Someone said, I wish they would learn the difference between healthy glow and oily, because I swear on all that is Maybelline, I'm sorry, that's so funny, if they get me excited for something to make me glow and then look like they slathered butter on their face, I'll scream. Can I just say amen and put this down? Yes. Honestly, when that, like, the glazed donut trend first came out, that's honestly what I thought. Is I was like, you just kind of look a little bit oily. Which don't get me wrong, I really am for an all glowy product. I like my face to look a little bit glowy, but honestly, I'm a dry skinned person. So for me, for like products that I'm like, okay, this is actually going to make me glowy rather than oily, I'm all there for it. But I don't want to look like I just dipped my head in a vat of Vaseline or slathered my face in butter. We've already established that buttery is problematic, so I don't really want that in my life. All right, this one I feel like I somewhat agree on and somewhat disagree, but they said that everything is HG status, Holy Grail status. Girl, your Holy Grail changes multiple times a week. Relax. I mean, there's definitely some beauty influencers that their Holy Grail changes so often that I'm like, no one even believes you at this point. I will say, I try not to watch those particular ones, but I do agree where I'm like, you haven't even used the product enough to know if it's your Holy Grail. I'm sorry, but you haven't. You just trying it doesn't mean that it's an instant Holy Grail. That's ridiculous. All right, this one had me screaming, because I was like, you are so right. And this one says, I'm sorry, I was really laughing when I was reading this, and I read a lot of them because I was so amused. The wrong color descriptions. And then there's like a bunch of comments under that one saying, this is a peachy, mauvey, neutral, pinkish red, or whatever. And I'm like, yes, you have no idea how often someone has described a color, and I'm like, are you actually looking at that? Because that's not what the color looks like. Or where they're like, it's a burnt orange leaning tomato-like, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's not, you're like contradicting yourself in the descriptions. You just stop while you're ahead. And someone also commented, I'm begging them, look at a color wheel. Which, yes, look at a color wheel, because clearly what you're describing, not a real thing. Okay, two more that I was so just, thank you for saying this. One person said, don't, like, and this is in quotes, don't walk, run on every trending product. Yes. I mean, can we just say that we don't all need the Drunk Elephant Bronzy Dew drops or whatever they're called? I sure don't. I in no way need that product, that's a huge reason I don't have that product. And for you to say like, don't rock, run, you're being ridiculous. Which I know that some of them are being, that they're partners and so they need to sell that product, but still I'm like, come on. All right, this one, I hate it when influencers say this because honestly, I'm like, what do you know? Just because you have every makeup known to man doesn't mean everybody else does. So this person said, stop saying, who asked for this when a practical basic eyeshadow palette comes out. Like that one is just like an enough said, yes, preach, queen. Because honestly, the amount of times where someone has been like, who even asked for this? I'm like, brands do what they know are going to make money. If that's what the market research is saying is going to do well, that's what they're going to do. And honestly, a neutral palette is going to sell well because that's what the majority of people wear. Just because that's boring to you or you have 5 other palettes that look like that does not mean it's a boring palette. It means that you don't necessarily need it, but maybe someone else does. That one is so like, I have heard that comment so many times and I'm like, lots of people have asked for this. Oh, this one is just like completely infactual. But when they said, this person said, when they talk about sunscreen and they're like, you only need a small amount. No, you don't. That's not the way sunscreen works, you guys. You need 2 fingers for your face. Otherwise, you're not getting the full SPF that's listed on the bottle. Period, full stop. Even if the sunscreen spreads really far, you still need that full 2 fingers worth, at least on your face. Otherwise, you're not getting that protection. You're correct. That one, I can't. Okay, this person said, calling a product she and saying obsessed every 3rd word. Calling things pigmented, find new words, please, I'm begging you. So, I mean, we've already talked about obsessed and like finding new adjectives, but calling products she, I kind of had to laugh at this one because honestly, I've fallen into this trap before because sometimes I'm not going to refer to a bronzer as they, or sometimes I don't even think about it, I just say it. So I kind of understand that one, but someone else commented under it. Someone actually commented under it, I can't find the comment now, but they said she's a bronzer, she doesn't have a gender identity. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. I mean, I have definitely said it before, and I do understand why it's easy to do, but it was just a funny, like, comment thread, so I had to include it. Okay, so this next one is a longer one, but it's one that I really, really resonate with because I can't tell you how often I have said this to people. I'm actually a cosmetologist, so this is just a pet peeve of mine when people say this. When people say sulfates are bad for you. So just on that note, I'm going to read the comment. It says, sulfates are not bad for you, but as a curly hair person, I prefer not to use them because I do notice them to be extremely drying. I prefer to opt for shampoos with gentle cleansers once or twice a week, though I'll use sulfate shampoo after swimming in a pool, or the sea, for example, though it needs to be followed by a moisturizing mask. I think the problem was the Curly Girl method was repackaged and sold by woo-woo influencers as clean beauty, as if non-sulfate cleansers is more natural. The alternative cleansing agent is still a chemical, obviously, LOL, they're just gentler. And people ran with it without thinking critically, even though it would obviously not work for the majority of straight-haired people. This one, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant now, because this one thank you for being informed. If you can't tell me what a sulfate is, I don't want to hear how it's bad for you. Full stop, period. I have ran into so many people and they're like, well, sulfates are bad for you. And I'm like, what's a sulfate? Because I'm trying to educate them. I'm like, if you choose not to use sulfates, that's great. Just make an informed decision. For those of you that don't know, sulfates are put into the category of what's called surfactants. Surfactants are a cleansing agent, just as this post mentioned. Surfactants are a cleansing agent that help to clean your hair, skin, whatever the case may be. They're not commonly in a lot of makeup products themselves. Normally they're in like cleansers, shampoos. Every once in a while you might find them in something else, but those are typically the type of products that they're in, okay? Just because you're using something that's sulfate free doesn't mean that it doesn't have another surfactant or cleansing agent in it. It's always going to have a surfactant. And some surfactants are actually harsher than sulfates. I just want to point that out. I've done extensive research on this. Some surfactants are harder on your hair than sulfates. So stop with this sulfates are bad for you. It's not true. It's just ridiculous. If you're not going to use one cleansing agent, you're going to have to use another. Okay, this is another one that I'm going to try not to get on my high horse about, but I was so happy when I saw this post because I was like, it's not just me that thinks it's ridiculous. Okay, so someone said, along the same lines of clean/natural beauty, I sigh every time I hear this product is full of random ass plant extracts you've never heard of, essential oils, so it's good for you. I'm not going to read the rest of her post because it's really long, but she's so right. Just because it's full of natural ingredients, we've talked about this before, tobacco is a natural ingredient, so is poison ivy. You guys, just because it's natural doesn't mean that it's good for you. And clean isn't necessarily a good thing. Essential oils are really, really hard on your skin. And honestly, clean beauty or natural beauty is very much a marketing term. We just talked about sulfates. Literally clean at Sephora, I don't know if you ever looked it up, but it literally means that it's not full of very specific ingredients that certain people have all of a sudden deemed bad for you. Not that science is deemed bad for you, but certain people have decided that they don't like them. So clean beauty, natural beauty, oh, that one gets me. All right, this next one. I loved this one too because I always feel that way. I'm like, is it good for the price or is it just a good product? Because I don't want to buy something that's, quote, good for the price and actually have it be a bad product. Like, if it's good, it's just good. If it's bad, it's just bad. I've definitely wasted my money on an e.l.f. product and I'm like, yeah, it was only $5, but it sucked. If it's bad, it's bad. But this person says, good for the price is just a facetious, I'm a snob way. It's either good or it isn't. As though people buy affordable things should be resigned that they can only expect a certain below par level of quality unless they spend $30+ for an item, which is really not the case in this day and age. Get real. I feel like they said that so well. I'm just gonna add one because I don't see it on the list. I know someone said it, but can't find it currently. So this one drives me nuts. When people say that it's clean beauty or it doesn't have any parabens or anything like this. First of all, I'm going to ask you the same question I did with sulfates. Do you know what parabens are? Because if you've done any research, you know that parabens are a type of preservative. So for those of you that don't know, Clean Beauty has decided that parabens are strucken off their list. They don't use them. Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of want preservatives in my makeup so it actually lasts. I don't know if you guys heard about the stuff that was happening with Kosas, with their products going bad or their concealer, which I love, by the way. I love their concealer, but it goes bad so fast. Want to know why? I don't know. They took out all the preservatives, maybe? You can't expect a product to actually have a stable shelf life if you don't have some sort of preservatives in it. So I hate it when people are like, it's paraben free, and I'm like, no, I would rather my shampoo not get moldy, thank you. I like to keep my my lipstick mold free. Thanks. No thanks. I'll just take it without that. Without the Clean Beauty stuff, thank you. I'll just take that to go. It kills me. I'm so done. So that was so much fun to read. I like really enjoyed looking at that list of things that you guys were so tired of from the beauty influencer world, because I'm so tired of that stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.